public means for expanding its sphere of influence. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised.
Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious. Choice is an illusion created between those with power and those without.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
Thank you, John Larson. I receive your kind words on behalf of all of our courageous members of the House of Representatives who want the best for the American people. And what we can do that is best for them in the next 24 hours is to pass affordable, accessible health care for all Americans. The best for all Americans is to have 32 million more people to have health insurance in our country. The best for...
Piece of stinking filth.
Shh, say it again, Shal. This is AJ of the InfoWars. Listen to the Shaliak. This is Alex Jones of InfoWars. Listen to Shaliak on the Cold Reality News and Report.
This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
Well, hello there!
This week on Cold Reality Radio. The Democrats behind the Russian dossier. TSA is now going to look through your books. TSA agent caught stealing cash from luggage. Everyone put fucking cash in their luggage, for God's sake. Trump to call for U.S. dominance in global energy production. OPEC looks totally bewildered by the global market, oil market. Hillary emails reveal NATO killed Gaddafi to stop Libyan creation of gold-backed currency. Two Italian zombie banks toppled Friday night. NSA uses trick to spy on Americans. CNN deletes fake news story about Russian investment ties to Trump. The criminalization of American life. Eight United Arab Emirates princesses convicted of human trafficking in Belgium. Florida cops shut down secret spy plan after backlash by locals. Amazon to buy the Whole Foods market. How America armed terrorists in Syria. The deep state history of America's deep state. McDonald's is replacing 2,500 human cashiers with digital kiosks. And the math will be shown to you. It's the banksters, stupid. Of course it is. Control the money. It's always been the tool to enslave. And of course they buy the governments, and then you're bleeding from the ass. Why is U.S. government giving a pharma giant exclusive rights to a Zika vaccine whose development was paid for by the U.S. public? Cops trying to kill a dog, kill innocent boy who tried to save it instead. The real purpose behind the Russian Trump conspiracy propaganda. Welcome to Cold Reality Radio here on the UCY.TV Broadcasting Network. Sunday, June 25th. It is 10:06 on the East Coast of America. So why do I say that every week? Why do I say the East Coast of Night America? Why do I call it Night America? Because we are behind, we fund, all these horrific things are being done in our name. The rest of the world hates us indirectly. Justifiably, they hate us for what we're part of and or what we are. It really doesn't matter. Guilt by association. The endless wars, the collusion, and then, of course, the proletariat, the populace that is around to kind of make it look like it's legitimate. Bloodline members of the family in Hollywood, movies, markets, everything is about money. It's not about curing any diseases. It's not about stopping the terrorists. It's about creating the lies and the deception. And as we move further down the road, we either pick up on it or we just think everything's fine and dandy. I'll be your host. For the next 2 hours. There'll be a little bit of that, as usual. It is only the 25th of June, and I've pretty much had it with any level of heat that has been. It's just gross. It's a gross thing. And I've always been one of those people that, tried to stick it out. I don't want to give the, I don't want to give the electric company anything. I don't want them to have anything of mine. I don't want them to. I mean, the government taxation's already stealing from us, but I never really wanted to give the electric companies any money, any extra money. My parents were always it's not all that, hot yet. Let's put it off. And then at times I would wake up and we mustered through it. And then there were, times when, they were able to save up enough money to, get a decent air conditioner in the house, and then just really kind of turn it on at times when it was just really getting bad. But and even after that, I mean, it kind of trickled into my life where I was just like, all right, I think I can muster through this. I can kind of make this happen. And then you have your apartment with an air conditioner, and then you're like, do I want to turn it on? Do I want to put my money in that arena? Can I just make it through this this heat? And now I'm just like, fuck it, Like today, it's not even that bad. It's supposed to only be 85, low humidity, so that's good. But anything really, honestly, over 75, I'm just like, well, this is extreme. This is extremism. So this never-ending nightmare of the Russians and the this and the that, and resist, impeach 45 being stirred up by that heinous witch who I don't even want to say her name. She's just an awful liberal liar who's been living off the people, just been living off of the people while making it seem like she's fighting for them. And she might have given them like a sandwich at one time. And they're like, oh, that's just so nice. He gave me a Maxine. Yeah, Maxine. Mad Max. God, I didn't even say her name because I can't get it out of my head. So she bans, the Trump supporters. Now, again, I'm not pro-Trump. I never really was. Again, we get caught in the whole thing of who's better, who's the worst person, the greater or lesser of evil. And, that Trump is behind some pretty nasty things. He's been involved and done business dealings with nasty fucking people who don't give a shit about human life. They only care about money and what they have and what they can do for their own their own circle. Trump, as we found out, just all of these, different revelations about his dealings with people, and it really has nothing to do with Russia. And even if it was a collusion for a business deal or this or that, the Clintons were involved with Russia and sold them uranium of some sort, some kind of nuclear element. So it's just so ridiculous that people will look at that or not even know about it. And if you say, hey, listen, the Clintons did this, the Clintons did that, they were behind this, they were behind that, everything that they're accusing, pretty much everything that they're accusing Trump of doing, having done, or will do, they've already done tenfold. They've already accomplished. And it really truly is about destroying America. They've got their orders, and nothing is going to change the financial collapse that is eventually going to happen. And then in there, the old world, new world order, the money, the monopoly men, the monopoly women will figure out a way to enslave us in some other way. Whether it be a cashless society where you absolutely have no, you have no ability to really do things off the record, meaning, just go and buy a coffee with cash or go to the store and buy $40 or $50 worth of groceries. Everything will be electronic. And you see that now where the younger population, the millennials, the 20-somethings, are not even carrying cash. No, I don't have any cash. Should always have a little bit of cash somewhere. $500, something. If there's a run on the bank or a run on banks, you won't be able. And then, of course, your all your credit cards may not work. Your debit card may not work. But we see how this is like. I see how people are saying, "Oh, this is really cool." Yeah, I don't really carry cash. You should get this this app that connects directly to your bank account, and then you can just transfer money to people back and forth. Now that seems like a good option to have, which is good, but not carrying cash around ever is really just silly. PayPal used to, allow you to send money to another PayPal user or an email account or whatever. But then they started charging for it, just like anything else, just like any other system to bring you in. Oh, you can transfer $50 to this charity or $50 to a family member or this or that. But now they're charging you for it. And if you get too much money in your account, like what happened to someone I work with in interview who's been putting together something, taking donations for a gift that he's taking the gift money in and producing something which will be in people's hands soon, I'm sure. They're like, what's this? They're like asking all kinds of questions, all kinds of there's stipulations. What's going on here? What do you got there? They always want to know. They've always got their hand in your pocket. They provide a platform that allows you to transfer money back and forth. Okay, they've got their hands in your pocket. They know what you're doing all the time, and that's the thing. It's just like every transaction, any kind of transaction, will be just electronic. There will be no cash for people to. I mean, you'd still be able to do something. My understanding of a financial collapse, that you having money even after that will be beneficial. Maybe not for long, but if it's in digital form. Say you've got $20,000 and then something happens to the currency, then you got now you've got 15,000 or 10,000. They cut it. The haircut that we heard about that happened over in Europe. People waking up to seeing a third of their savings gone. You can at least say if you have that $10,000, not very many people are going to keep $10,000, under their mattress. A lot of people do that. I remember, a friend of mine saying, hey, I don't keep my money in a bank. And I'm like, and I'm just, okay, I get it. I mean, if you're going to keep it in your house, you better keep it in a safe. You better keep it safe from fire, all kinds of different shit, because if it's not, it can get stolen again. But basically, they're stealing your money at the bank anyway. So they're lending out your money and giving you nothing back. You're not getting any of that. If you have $20,000 in the bank and through the fractional reserve system, they can lend out money according to how much money they have from the people that bank at their facility. They're not giving you shit. They're making incredible sums of money, and you are getting nothing. You're getting next to fucking nothing for them to be able to. Your money's there. You can go there and get it. You can do different things that you need to do, but whole scale, it's they're just fucking stealing from you. The whole system is designed this way. But everybody loves it. The millennials, they just love it. They love not carrying cash around. They love, the electronic transactions. They love all this. They love all that. And when you bring up the different aspects of it, the different downsides to not carrying cash or not having cash at any one moment in time, it's always, that's a paranoid way of thinking about this. That's a approach that but most people just don't. They see the way their life is. They're working hard to try to be better debt slaves. When they smile and say, "Oh, my credit score is 750 or 700 or whatever," but what they don't realize is that, and even if they did realize it, they wouldn't care. It's just part of the whole. Them lying to you, you lying to yourself about the system that we live in. We should have debt-free money, or relatively debt-free money. We should be able to. Get a loan and get a certain amount of money to be able to get a home or something like that. But see, that would empower the commoners. That would empower the slaves. So of course, homes are a little bit more lenient. They're like, oh well, this is a home, and so we're only going to do a 30-year. You got 30 years to pay this off. And then of course you hear the different scams of I pay that 30-year mortgage off in 10 years. Which, can be done, but who hasn't gone out there and taken out another mortgage or a refinance or something like that? They love it. They love doubling and tripling down on your debt. And plus, the more money that you put into the house, they can sell it when they take it back, when they steal it from you, or when they take back what's theirs. that they were only allowing you to domicile in. Denizen, commoner. So we see a lot of this. We see a lot of this stuff going on. We see a lot of the. Let's pull this mic a little closer here. See a lot of this division. I saw it yesterday in a doctor's office as I was sitting there waiting to get a chiropractic adjustment, of which I pay for out of my own pocket because the healthcare system never really approves any more than 12 adjustments or maybe 25 twice a month, which is relatively kind of good. I don't know that exists anymore. But when you have people, they'll sit there. I walk in, there's just this woman and her husband sitting on the other row, like the other across from the table is like a kind of a coffee table, and she's talking about refugees that come into the country and get benefits, schooling, different things like that the citizens aren't even getting, right? So of course I was just kind of like, I'm probably going to say something at some point and agree that, or say, which I did state, sounds like it's part of an agenda. I mean, why would a citizen not get something and then someone who's not a citizen, we're taxpayers, we should probably get something before someone that comes from somewhere else would get. So as I'm sitting there, this other guy walks in, sits across from her, and then this woman sits on the same bench as she's on. And I mean, she really didn't say anything that divisive or hurtful or offensive at all. But then this woman gets up and she sounded like she was halfway to start to cry. She said, "I'm offended by what you said, woman. These people are being treated so awfully." And they mentioned raping and killing and all kinds of stuff. If we have the means to be able to bring them, so there's the talking point. If we have the means to be able to bring them here and give them something, which what she was saying was to give them, I'm going to give them, and you're going to give them too, because that's the way it works. It's a transference of money to. And I believe that's what the new health care bill is. It's and then of course the Democrats are saying this is a transfer of wealth from the poor to the extreme. Well, that's what Obamacare was, but nobody was paying attention back then. No one was paying attention. So they get to accuse Trump of something that they've already done, but because they're fucking voters and idiots that believe in them don't question anything or ask anything or don't realize that they were being jobbed and ripped the fuck off. They just transfer blame and that scenario over to this new healthcare bill, which I'm not saying that it's any better than, because ultimately they don't care about you. It's the illusion that they're doing something for you when they're actually getting something for themselves. So the woman is there and she's halfway to tears, using talking points that she fucking heard on MSNBC or Rachel Mancow or one of these other, these just garbage, lying CNN bullshit platforms of shit. Now, I'm not saying that this woman here, because I mean, you could tell that she was probably someone who listened to Fox News, but she was on the right track by saying, why are they doing this? But at the same time, she would probably be for, if I could have actually gotten it out, how was this refugee crisis created? But by then, there were too many emotions. And then the man, like I think her husband got up and was out of the room before any of this started. The guy who came in and said, hey, this is not the place for this. And I said, I agree. I said, yeah, this is not the place. And he said, but you're never going to have any conversations about this or anything. I said, because the public is so completely misinformed about everything. They think they know stuff. They think they have an idea about what's going on when they really don't have a clue. And I was looking dead at him. Because I'm not afraid of these fucking retards. I'll say whatever. You wanna come at me? Fist fucking curled in. If I'm wrong, I'll take the brunt, but I know I'm not, and you better watch out. Right? That's what we're seeing, the violence. We're seeing the violence that is being created, where people will literally hit someone over the head, like that guy that was hit over the head with something and was bleeding, down his face into his eyes, while they were there just at a rally for their side. And then those cowards that would fucking, come to these things with masks over their faces so nobody can see who they are. Those fuckers. Those are the Bolshevik minions right there. The Trotskys. The filth that ultimately should have died in their cribs. So I said that. I said most people are completely and totally uninformed because the media lies and the public believes the lies, and then they take a side, and then they're divided and they're conquered. And I said, and that's what you're seeing here. That's what you're seeing with this conversation right here. The guy was like, well, I was going to say it. I didn't. Yeah, you were offending me, but I wasn't going to say anything. Go fuck yourself. You were offending me. And little strawberry shortcake, like, those people they're being tortured. They are being tortured. Lies. They're being tortured by NATO. They're being tortured by the banking interests that control America and that control the Middle East. And then they lie to the people. And they think it's real because that's what the Matrix does. Your mind makes it real when it's fucking not. So they believe bullshit stories. And I was going to say, hey, they went over to Libya and lied about this guy, and then they fucking decimated the whole area and created refugees that were running for their lives from NATO, not Gaddafi. And in Syria, but these people, they have no ability. They have no discernment. They are the walking dead. They are the walking dead. It's that simple. Their creator is just palming his or her face saying, just, damn, can you be this fucking stupid? Can you be this naive? Can you be this manipulated and not understand that you're being manipulated on a massive scale? And it really is that. And I wanted to kind of talk to the woman who was, talking about the refugees, but what you would have run into was she would have had that Fox News mindset. She would have been pro-Trump. She would have been deceived on the right, deceived by the right. And that's really all that it is. A complete and total manipulating deception that you either pick up on or you don't. You pick up on it and you don't want to be a part of it. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Hillary. I will vote never again. I will vote never again. They suckered me in when I watched George W. Bush and Al Gore. They suckered me in there when I started. Well, maybe it's about time I started caring about something. You know, a lot of these millennials, they're just, they have no idea how the world actually operates. They have no idea. And God bless them. All they're looking to do is, the American dream. They're trying to live that American dream. That American dream. America. Especially those 9/11 babies and all those other individuals that really truly have very, very little discernment whatsoever. Teenagers are just completely baffled. I mean, I remember being that age and thinking, like, fucking school is the worst. Maybe then knowing that this was a utter fucking just bullshit. Oh, there's my God tone. Utter friggin' bullshit that I knew deep down was not a process. It was not something that I thought would be beneficial. Hell, I already learned to read. I already learned to write. But it is very, very hard for people to understand that America is a experiment. It is a controlled environment. For America to work the way that it has, you need to be able to control the education system. That's why government is in education, because they need to teach you things that are not true. They need to teach you things that are lies so that you will believe something and support that thing, and that helps the creator of that system. The lies about history, the lies about World War I, World War II, every conflict, the lies about the United Nations, sorry. They have the gun tied in a knot, the barrel tied in a knot. That's their fake persona, their fake imagery, like end the violence, stop the killing. A gun with a knot tied in the barrel can't. Yet there's been more wars and more conflicts since the creation of the United Nations, and that was the goal, to put this front up to put this cover of peace on death and destruction. Just like how the most oppressed group is actually the most deadly group. Those who think of a group who's been dealt like the worst hand or been slaughtered in mass or whatever, those are the people that are the oppressors. The oppressed are the real oppressors. And it doesn't take long to figure that out when you see the narrative in our society today. And it's done in a pretty simple way. Just keep repeating the lie. Keep repeating the lies. Make a market out of spirituality. Make a market out of religion. It's all about markets. Fuck with people's fertility and then create a market, a medical market to assist with your infertile issues. That's how it works. We are the host, they are the parasite. It happens no other way. Divide and conquer is the game. And unfortunately, it still has the same effect that it had throughout the ages. And all you have to do is look at the division between Trump and the Democrats. And you know that we're headed for a complete and total fucking meltdown of society. A complete and total meltdown of society, which they who created all the issues that led to that meltdown of society, then they will manage that meltdown. Gleefully managing the commoner scum, proletariat filth that they've allowed themselves to become. And I'm convinced that that if people, you know, and I've heard this particular. And no way that people will be able to come together in their minds and understand that they're being divided and conquered and destroyed and ruled and poisoned and deformed by bad information. There's no way that that's going to. And that's why they spend so much time doing what we see. Because all it would take is really what Greg from New Jersey said so many times. Stop participating in the system. 30 days, nobody go to work, nobody drive your car, nobody do this, nobody do, everybody just do that. And you'll see the fucking system change real fast. Soldiers, put your fucking rifles down. And those who don't put their fucking rifles down, then you fucking kill them. I mean, it's that simple. And of course, that would be, we would find out who the real scumbags are in society. We would find out who the oppressors really are. But nobody's willing to do that. Nobody's willing to stop putting just that nobody's willing to do that. Nobody's willing to shut down the system. Because what did Morpheus say? There are these, they're not ready to be unplugged, and until they are an enemy to everyone, and they're so hopelessly enslaved by the system that they will fight to defend it. They will fight to defend a system that has enslaved them, poisoned them, murdered them, deceived, enslavement on every fucking level. Yet, like David Icke says, it's a prison that you cannot see, taste, touch. It is the prison planet. And the more that I see, the more that I see, Alex Jones out there prancing around like a goblin creature. He's just a fucking comedian. He might as well be Bill Hicks, because he's not doing I don't think he's doing any good for anybody. And I know there's someone out there but like, oh, really? You don't think that he's, mocking what I just said, but I don't think that I think he is done more detriment by his media appearances, whether it be Piers Morgan or whether it be his latest media shitstorm with Megyn Kelly, the lying Megyn Kelly. And I hope it turns around and fucks him, and I hope it turns around and fucks her in her career. Another flattering title. Give me a fucking break. But just ridiculousness, man. And then the more you hear about that, so they said, she wasn't going to talk about Sandy Hook. She wasn't going to ask about this. When you really look at some of the developments that have gone out there, you really have to kind of shake your head and say, wow, all of these things that have developed, all of these people that have come out from that area in Connecticut and said, hey, I sat there and watched a video of a woman sitting in a Connecticut, a hearing, saying things that Halbig guy said, saying things that many other people have said that surface around the illegitimacy of that event. But of course, what will the devil do? What will Satan, the adversary, do? Not personified. I don't believe in that bullshit. But they will, the children. And did I mention the children? The children. They don't care about adults. They don't care about children. These people. They're fucking garbage. Right. And so, it's just it's just mind-boggling, man. It just makes my fucking head hurt to see how badly people have been manipulated, and they just haven't figured it out. I guess they don't want the dream to be over. They don't want the party to be over. And apparently that's what most people think that life is. And then if you really kind of attack these people, these millennials, then you're like, well, they're just trying to, and then they really do make sense. Like, these people are just trying to make the best lives that they can. And that's true. That's true. So you're kind of torn between, calling them completely useless and then just realizing that they just are pathetic little creatures, pathetic little goblin creatures. Mr. Jones, the pathetic goblin creature. And then she interviewed that Owen Schroyer guy, and he was just like wearing his Hillary shirt. It was all like, it would have been fun if he would just like, he looked at it and Megan kind of be like, "Can I kiss you right now?" That's what Jones should have said. "Can I kiss you right now? I want to kiss you." Do the Joe Namath, with that famous, Joe Namath thing where he was all drunk at a football game, and then that Susie Colbert was there, and he's like, "I want to kiss you. Would it be okay if I kiss you right now? You are just the cutest little thing. I just want to kiss you right now." And so that's, it's just so ridiculous, man, And they, it's just, it would be like this. You look at it and you break down all the stories, all the hundreds of articles. I figured it would be like this. This is exactly what you would expect. And we really shouldn't. I'm not. I'm not surprised anymore. I'm just disgusted. I'm just truly disgusted more than I am even surprised or amazed at the carnival. The carnival that all this is. But, it's when the time comes, it'll, everybody will have to answer to their maker, right? I'll have to answer to their maker, man. Maker, man. See what this is. I'll be right back. Hillary, you drink baby blood. So if I was like a real musician, you know, like in a real recording artist, this is how like one of those, you know, like interviews would go. The guy would be like, they'd be playing my music in the background, and the guy would be like, so what is your biggest, what did you listen to growing up? Well, I watched a lot of Sesame Street and the New Zoo Review, and I watched a lot of Asian anime, yeah. And then one day I just I just picked up a guitar, and then like 40 minutes later I was playing like this. So like 40 minutes after you picked up the guitar, you were able to play like this? Yeah, I was like super high on like cocaine and heroin. I believe they call that like speedballing, and it opened up a wormhole to the universe, and in so doing, I was able to download the extreme guitar data technique, and then you know, it's all history. So I think I was like 1 at that point, 1 years old. You'll never see any video of it because my parents were like, we don't want the world to know what he can do. The government will come and take him away. You know, they saw a lot of those movies where, you know, you take away gifted people, you know, put them into government experiments. The world wasn't ready for a shredding 1-year-old. The world wasn't ready for that. And that would be my behind the music right there. That would be my behind the music on VH1. So happy Sunday here on UCY. There will be a Freedom Palooza happening very soon, and so stay tuned for that. There will be a Freedom Palooza, and there will be I'm hearing some things. I'm hearing some exciting things. And well, there'll be more to come this week, I'm sure. So you know, stay tuned. And there'll be. Oh, that was wild. So, as I said, we've got, let's take a listen to this here. Trump supporters storm Maxine Walters' town hall.
June 24, 2017. We are in Gardena today. We are here because Congresswoman Maxine Waters is holding a town hall. Unfortunately, I am not allowed to go inside, even though I have a ticket. So as you can see, it says Congresswoman Maxine Waters Town Hall, free order. But a couple of days ago, myself and hundreds of others apparently got this email. It says, a message from Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Thank you for your interest in our upcoming town hall meeting in Gardena this Saturday, June 24th. Unfortunately, due to the high interest in the town hall and the large number of RSVPs we have received, far surpassing the facility's capacity, priority seating within the venue will be given to residents of the 43rd Congressional District. We have reserved an overflow space for those who do not live in the 43rd District, but who are interested in attending nonetheless. Based on the address you provided on Eventbrite, your residence is not within the 43rd District. Accordingly, while you will not be admitted into the Nakoka Community Center, you will have access to the overflow area outside of the building from where you will be able to hear the program. We appreciate your understanding. Oh yes, I do understand, because the last time I checked, Congresswoman Maxine Waters does not even live in her district. So she doesn't live in her district, yet she tells those who live outside her district that they can't come in.
So I was
Robin, what does the yellow wristband mean?
The yellow wristband means you are branded, but you cannot go in the building. You are forced to sit outside. Even though we registered.
Look at this, second-class citizens.
They're fucking deplorables.
We are stakeholders in this district.
We're stakeholders and taxpayers in this district.
And this number is expected to almost triple to 14 million by the year 2030. The Alzheimer's Caregiver Support Act, that is H.R. 2972, authorizes grants to public and nonprofit organizations to expand training and support services for families and caregivers of patients with Alzheimer's disease. The bill requires the Secretary of Health and Human Services to coordinate with
So apparently this is what people spend their time doing now. Well, I think honestly, I think Walters needs to know that she's just a piece of garbage from back when when that Reginald Denny was ripped from his vehicle and beaten back in the 90s. She was just, you know what? She's a lifetime politician. Why any useful idiot, truly, because I mean, she look at what she's doing now. This is the swan song of her just absolutely destructive career. As well as, I mean, when you look at a lot of the Republicans, McCain, he's a fucking rhino. There's a lot of them on each side that are just absolutely destructive. They've been there too long, and the only reason that they're there is because they're bloodline family members, and it's their jobs. They have a lifetime job. This isn't, serving the country. This is permanent position for a lot of these. I mean, look at Mitch McConnell. Look at a lot of these other people. I mean, sooner or later you would think that they would be voted out, but then they're not. They're not voted out. They're permanent. Their permanence is duly noted, and I truly believe that somewhere along the line they're going to face the music, and it's going to be bad music like Perry Como or something, or some kind of big band stuff from the 30s, 20s and 30s. Let's see. Oh, is she inside here? I don't know if I'll be able to see any of this.
Impeach 45! 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 Impeach 45!
Mental patient. And of course her a lot of her constituents are as well. Physically, mentally, financially enslaved. Let's see here. What do we got? Excessive lead levels found in almost 2,000 water systems across all 50 states. Okay, this would really kind of solidify the brain damage that we're seeing with most. While harsh national spotlight focuses on the drinking water in Flint, Michigan, a USA Today network investigation has identified almost 2,000 additional water systems spanning all 50 states where testing has shown excessive levels of lead contamination over the past 4 years. So it's actually been, they're expediting and pouring more and putting more chemicals and toxins into the water supply. Okay. Heck, I'm watching the beginning of last night of that Suicide Squad movie, and this one guy said there's fluoride in our waters, and this is at like a top secret like meeting or whatever, talking about how they're going to take these deplorable, yet the Will Smith plays like a assassin who doesn't miss when he shoots, and then of course Harley Quinn, and then the Joker, and then a lot of these other different things. So they're extracted from their cells to go out and fight, the bad guys for the United States government. The one guy said, "Well, there's fluoride in our water, and there's blah 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 blah." But I mean, that's just the lead, the fluoride, a lot of it kind of radioactive. There's radiation. They're just really dumping some of the worst fucking shit into the water supplies. But let's just focus on lead because, that's just enough of a story, but nowhere near and of course there's 2,000 water systems, and everybody's just kind of focused on Flint, Michigan. So that's how the whole thing kind of gets swept under the carpet to a certain degree. To a certain degree, now. All right, so let's see here. Find that over at Blacklisted News. Google will stop reading your emails for Gmail ads. Google is stopping one of the most controversial advertising formats, ads inside Gmail that scan users' email content. The decision didn't come from Google's ad team, but from its cloud unit, which is angling to sign up more corporate customers. Contagion from the two Friday night bank collapses in Italy. When things get serious in the EU, laws get bent and loopholes get exploited. This is what is happening right now in Italy, where the banking crisis has reached the tipping point. The European Congressional, or the ECB, the bank, right? Their EC bank, together with the Italian government, have just this weekend to resolve the Banca Popolare and the Veneto Banca, two zombie banks that the ECB on Friday night ordered to be liquidated. Right, so the banks slowly deteriorate till we get down to the one bank, no cash, microchip population that has been not only predicted years ago, but now we're seeing, I think even in Obama care, there was microchipping. So nobody ever talks about that, really, truly. Hillary's emails reveal NATO killed Gaddafi to stop Libyan creation of gold-backed currency. Hillary's emails truly are the gifts that keep on giving. While France led the proponents of the UN Security Council resolution that would create a no-fly zone in Libya, it claimed that its primary concern was the protection of Libyan civilians. Bullshit. Considering the current state of affairs alone, one must rethink the authenticity of this concern. They were people, men, women, and children were killed en masse in the Libyan, humanitarian effort, which was another lie. As many conspiracy theorists will claim, one of the real reasons to go to Libya was Gaddafi's planned gold dinar. So, and of course they were one of the only ones that was not part of the global financial system. You also have what was just reported on one of these bulls and bear shows on Fox, where there's high levels of oil coming out of Libya now. So whatever they did over there, and they were like, well, we don't really know what's going on, but they're really producing a lot of oil there now that's being shipped. So there was another goal to get those oil resources. It's usually, if there's just one thing to accomplish, then you rarely see a move like this. But just like Wesley Clark said, there was going to be all of these changes, regime changes in like 7 countries. So, and this was 2007, 2008 of information that he received right after 9/11, and so you're seeing that now, and the oil production is going up, and they're making incredible sums of money. Who's in control of that? The refugee crisis, that our little cupcakes were offended about, not really knowing what the real story is, just being offended for no apparent reason other than someone has a different opinion than you or someone else. One of the 3,000 Clinton emails released by the State Department on New Year's Eve, where the real news is sent to die quietly, has revealed evidence that NATO's plot to overthrow Gaddafi was fueled by, first, their desire to squash the gold-backed African currency, and second, the Libyan oil reserves. The email in question was sent to Secretary of State Clinton by her unofficial advisor, Sidney Blumenthal, which was tied to who's that guy, Blumenthal? I think that's his name, the guy who writes about Gaza. He's a Jewish guy who's like pro-Gaza and trying to help them. I hope that he's actually doing that, not just, part of the divide and conquer. All right, so her unofficial advisor, Blumenthal, titled France's Client and Gaddafi's Gold. It's weird, like they'll spell it with a Q here, but then it's spelled with a G. From a Foreign Policy Journal, the email identifies Sarkozy as leading the attack on Libya with 5 specific purposes in mind: to obtain oil, ensure French influence in the region, increase Sarkozy's reputation domestically, assert French military power, and to prevent Gaddafi's influence in what was considered Francophone Africa. Now, what did the new French president say just recently? That Libya was an atrocity, and that he was completely against it, and that he didn't want Syria to become another Libya. So you see how they play the whole thing. Now, we're not sure, or I don't know, that I haven't heard any stories. I haven't really been looking, but there was the Le Pen woman who was like, I am Vive la France, and we need to, the Trump, it's a continuity of agenda with the Trump style candidates and the establishment candidates, and of course this new jackass who's part of the Rothschild dynasty wins. So was there voter fraud? Or do people just want to be enslaved by the same system? Take your choice. Most astounding is the lengthy section delineating the huge threat that Gaddafi's gold and silver reserves, estimated at 143 tons of gold and a similar amount in silver, posed to the French or the CFA, circulating as a prime African currency. And of course, there was another story. What happened to Libya's gold? What happened to all these? What happened to all of them? And here is a section of the email proving that NATO had ulterior motives for destroying Libya. The link has since been killed, but here is the web cache. Oh, nope, you're not going to get that web cache. Google fucking punched it in the balls. This gold was accumulated prior to the current rebellion and was intended to be used to establish a pan-African currency based on the Libyan golden dinar. This plan was designed to provide the Francophone African countries, or the FAC, with an alternative to the franc, right? So, let's see, source. Valued in more than $7 billion, French intelligence officers discovered this plan shortly after the current rebellion began, and this was one of the factors that influenced Sarkozy's decision to commit France to the attack on Libya. According to these individuals, Sarkozy's plans are driven by the following issues: a desire to gain a greater share of the Libyan oil production. Maybe France is involved in that. You know, what we're seeing now, the oil production out of Libya that was substantial enough to get to the Fox business channel. Increased French influence in Northern Africa, because I guess that's what the Northern Africans want, more fucking French walking around with their fucking tight asses. Improve his internal political situation in France. Provide the French military with an opportunity to reassert its position in the world. You know, that was just their, all right, you're going to do this. France is going to do this. This other, you know, it's all pre-planned. It's all pre-designed. Who's going to do what? Addressed the concern of his advisors over Gaddafi's long-term plans to supplant France as a dominant power in Africa. Ergo, as soon as French intel discovered Gaddafi's dinar plans, they decided to spearhead the campaign against him, having accumulated enough good reasons to take over. Sadly, Gaddafi had earlier warned Europe in a prophetic phone conversation with Tony Blair that his fall would prompt the rise of Islamic extremism in the West, a warning that would go unheeded. What's a few lives in France and Libya if the larger goal lines the pockets of politicians and the elite so much better after all? So we can see that this must be a really huge talking point over in France, because the new fucking jackass, that fucking little fucking prick, douchebag, French fry douchebag guy, is saying that we don't want the same thing to happen in Syria, when they absolutely do want the same thing to happen. But his little fucking pansy-ass Frenchy boy is saying the opposite, just to, as you would imagine, the same things that Trump is doing here, saying that he's not going to do this, and NATO should be disbanded and all this other stuff. And now, he's blowing them in the fucking back room. Flimsy evidence and fringe sources land people on secretive banking watch lists. The Intercept, a corporate database used by banks and other institutions to screen clients for crimes such as money laundering, which Warren Buffett's bank has been laundering drug money through Mexico, and terror financing, has labeled dozens of U.S. citizens as connected to terrorism on a basis of outdated or substantiated allegations. An analysis of 2014 copy of the database, which is known as World Check, also indicates that many thousands of people, including children, were listed on the basis of tenuous links to crime or to politically prominent persons. The database relied on allegations stemming from right-wing Islamophobic websites to categorize under terrorism people and groups like the Council on American Islamic Relations, several mosques, and national and regional Islamic organizations. Now, exactly what you would imagine would happen. Everybody is considered a terrorist or a potential terrorist, so let's link whatever they're doing financially to something nefarious. Eight United Arab Emirate princesses convicted of human trafficking in Belgium. This is RT, the dreaded RT, the propaganda RT, right? Actually telling more truth about what's going on in the world than, Fox and Friends, Charlie Rose and his salt and pepper hose, and, of course, all these other bags of shit. 8 princesses from the UAE were given suspended jail terms and fined in a human trafficking case in Belgium, escaping the harsher charges of inhumane treatment. The case against Princess blah 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 retard of Abu Dhabi's ruling Al Nahyan family and her 7 daughters had been dragging on since 2008. Back then, a servant managed to escape to a luxury Brussels hotel booked by the UAE royals and complained of mistreatment to the local police. On Friday, a criminal court in Brussels found Princess Sheka and her daughters guilty of human trafficking and degraded treatment. They were handed 15-month suspended sentences in order to pay a fine, with half the sum suspended. However, the 8 women who never appeared in court during the trial were acquitted of more serious charges of humane treatment. So they had to do a little bit, make it look like somehow justice was served, and then the real situation, the most heinous shit, was never allowed to appear during the trial, and were acquitted of more serious charges, right? So that's what's going on over there in the United Arab Emirates. More human trafficking, much like what's going on here in America. Florida cops shut down secret spy plane plan after backlash by the local commoner denizen filth. Tech Dirt says Miami-Dade police decided to drop its wide area surveillance plan in the face of public backlash. The MDPD tried to slip it past residents and county government by claiming the acquisition of a secret spy plane was too important to be done properly. And the documents submitted by the commission, first reported by the New Times last Thursday, showed that Miami-Dade had already applied for a $500,000 Department of Justice grant loan to begin testing the program. The claimed the deadline to apply for the grants had allegedly been too pressing to wait to notify the public. And so the county mayor, Carlos Jimenez office, applied for the Department of Justice money without first getting public approval. So that's coming to a town near you. how America armed terrorists in Syria, the Consortium News. Representative Tulsi Gabbard's Stop Arming Terrorists Act to curb weapons going to al-Qaeda-linked jihadists in Syria has attracted only 14 co-sponsors, pointing to hypocrisy in the war on terror, as Gareth Porter explained at the American Conservative. Gareth Porter wrote, three-term Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii, a member of both the Armed Services and Foreign Affairs Committee, has stations in Syria, as well as to any organization working directly with them. She'll be voted out very soon in Hawaii, by the way. Equally important, it would prohibit the U.S. military sales and other forms of military cooperation with other countries that provide arms or financing to those terrorists and their collaborators, Israel and all the other people that have trained ISIS and are supporting ISIS and the regime change effort against Syria that's been going on for 7 years and was planned many, many years ago. Gabbard's Stop Arming Terrorists Act challenges for the first time in Congress a U.S. policy toward the conflict in the Syrian civil war, which isn't really a civil war as much as it is them being attacked by proxy armies created by the by the global banking consortium. That should have a U.S. policy toward the conflict in the Syrian civil war that should have set off alarm bells long ago. In 2012 and 2013, the Obama administration helped its Sunni allies, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, provide arms to Syrian and non-Syrian armed groups to force Bashar al-Assad out of power. And in 2013, the administration began to provide arms to what the CIA judged to be relatively moderate anti-Assad groups, the moderate rebels, remember them? Meaning they incorporated various degrees of Islamic extremism. That policy ostensibly aimed at helping replace the Assad regime with a more democratic alternative has actually helped to build up al-Qaeda's Syrian franchise, al-Nusra Front, in the dominant threat to Assad. That's because al-Qaeda is al-Nusra and al-Qaeda is ISIS, and they're all the same. They're all one and the same. Supporters of this arms supply policy believes it necessary as pushback against Iranian influence in Syria, right? But that argument skirts the real issue raised by the policy's history. The Obama administration's Syrian policy effectively sold out the U.S. interest that was supposed to be the touchstone of the global war on terrorism, which is a joke, large scale. The eradication of al-Qaeda and its terrorist affiliates, which is, we're not eradicating them anymore. We're funding them and giving them because Syria is friends with Iran. And it's really, anybody who, large percentages of people actually believe this. Fox News people would because Iran's being painted as such a piece of shit that no matter what it is, if Syria is in bed with Iran, then whatever you got to do, whatever you got to do. Shipments to Benghazi. CIA controlled firm shipped the weapons from the military port of Benghazi to two small ports in Syria using former U.S. military personnel to manage the logistics, and investigative reporter Cy Hirsch detailed in 2014 the funding for the program came mainly from the Saudis. So that was Benghazi was a murdered. Okay, Hillary and Obama murdered indirectly, but just as if they did it themselves. They murdered the the 5 in Benghazi, and then Hollywood made a movie about it, and so everything's okay now. So you can catch the details of this in over at blacklistednews.com. And of course now Trump doubles down, triples down by giving Saudi Arabia, who's complicit not only in the 28 pages, along with its, ally, the untouchables there in the Middle East, connected to the attacks of 9/11, and also training the new proxy armies there, while we're told back here in fucking retardville that we're fighting terror, but then we're actually funding and giving weapons to all of these terrorist groups. Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with this picture? And when shit is so fucked up, and I'm going to put it in the most fucking caveman terms that even the fucking caveman and cave lady can figure the fuck out. When shit is this fucked up, man, when they're lying outright to people and it's right fucking there, yet people choose to fucking analyze it as something else that is necessary. I mean, damn. 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 Triple damn. Quadruple damn. So Consortium News has the article on how America armed the terrorists in Syria. And, of course, Israel's involved, and Saudi Arabia's involved, and fucking Turkey was involved, and Ham was involved, and fucking salami. As-salami alaikum. Everybody's involved. But yet, everybody surrounding Israel is an enemy of Israel, so they got to protect themselves, right? Right? The oppressed are the oppressors. We're so fucked. And of course, the replacement of man with machine. McDonald's is replacing 2,500 human cashiers with digital kiosks. And here's the math. Here's the fucking math. Zero Hedge says stock market is loving McDonald's stocks, which has continued its recent relentless rise to an all-time high. And of course, this kind of goes into Whole Foods, the last bastion of maybe, the best doof out there, food spelled backwards, courtesy Patrick Jordan. What is going to happen to Whole Foods? Okay, this recent relentless rise to all-time highs, up 26% year to date, oblivious to the carnage among the broader restaurant and food sector. There is a reason for Wall Street's euphoria, the same one we discussed in January in Dear Bernie. Meet the Big Mac ATM that will replace all of your $15 per hour fast food workers. Does he really talk like that for real, or is it just a fucking like a tick or something? In a report released this week by Cohen's Andrew Charles, the analyst calculates the jump in sales as a result of the company's new Experience the Future strategy, which anticipates the digital ordering kiosks shown above. Order and pay here will replace cashiers in at least 2,500 restaurants by the end of 2017 and another 3,000 over 2018. Cowen also cited plans for the restaurant chain to roll out mobile ordering across 14,000 U.S. locations. So you can get your toxic poison fucking asshole-infested food without the help of something with a heartbeat. Snapshot of the math, likely in conjunction with management used to come up with the cost savings as McDonald's increasingly lays off more and more of the minimum wage workers and replaces them with Big Mac ATMs. Order right here. Pay also right here. Order your poison. Your kidneys will fail. Your liver as well. Your colon will your colon. So that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing there. And of course, I have no doubt that Amazon's going to fucking rape the Whole Foods market, and that should be fun. That should be fun when there's absolutely no, food out there that's worth eating. The starvation and all the other shit will come, and that'll be great. And America will be great again. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be great again. It's the bankers, dummy. You big dummy. Kurt Nemo, Another Day in the Empire. It's something Americans should have figured out after the last financial crisis. No, not that smart. The source of their misery stems from the policies of the Federal Reserve and the international bankers. As usual, though, the establishment media has diverted attention elsewhere, and the financial class of modern robber barons continues its pathological looting and will do so until the bottom falls out of the economy. Quote, while politics in the West reels from a decade of economic crisis and stagnation, asset prices continue to surge on the back of continued rapid growth in G3 QE, quantitative easing maybe, writes Albert Edwards. In an age of radical uncertainty, how long will it be before angry citizens tire blaming an impotent political system for their ills and turn on the main culprits for their poverty, unelected and virtually unaccountable central bankers? I expect central banks, central bank independence will be and should be the next casualty of the current political turmoil. But no, as I said, you got these millennials out there that just love to not carry cash or think that, that they have a future. And then some of them do, honestly. But through automation and other aspects, like Bill Joy wrote about in Wired Magazine, how the future doesn't need us, we are looking at, it's just like what's happening in America is the same thing that people kind of, I wouldn't want to say experience when it comes to people hesitating to write a will, hesitating to think about the world, their lives, the life of their families after they're gone. Okay, it's a very uncomfortable situation. It's very, morbid, dark, so that they don't really think about or want to think about uncomfortable things. So that's really what's kind of going on in America. People continue to just do things the way they've always done because they don't want to think. And of course, with the help of the deceptive system, the media that lies, all that other shit, Melonhead Alex Jones, who kind of tells people things, but then there's a destructive edge to the disinfo war. People don't want to think about the future. They don't want to think about things that bald guys who are twice their age say, hey, listen, you might want to think about these possibilities. Oh, no, that's cool. I've got a condo. I've got this. I've got that. I don't carry cash. I'm going to get like super fucking drunk this weekend and be like, blah, 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 blah. And then, everything will be okay on Monday when I go back to work. And maybe you're right, but chances are you're not. And so as we get closer and closer to doomsday, and that's really truly what it is, and people don't want doomsday, the day you die, whatever, they're both the same thing. They're both the same thing. So people don't want to get their will together. And that's where, a good woman comes in handy where she says, listen, you might want to think about doing this, when she's really kind of, she loves her husband and everything, but she's really just thinking about herself and the kids if something happens to fucking douchebag McGee, her husband, the McGee clan, right? So she's really just, so she'll force him to kind of do something, just like she'll force him to go get the colonoscopy, or she'll force him to go to the doctors for something, and then he buys into the system, and the next thing you know, he dies fucking 10 years before he's supposed to, and he may or may not have gotten the fucking will completed, or maybe he's got like two other side situations, and he's they're the beneficiaries, along with little Bobby and Sally and Mickey, the fucking three-legged dog. So people don't want to think about these things. They don't want to think that this is. And then when you mention it to people, even people your age, and this is the way things have always been. These queer little fucking answers that people give when they're powerless, mentally, physically. They've got nothing to offer the world. They got nothing to offer themselves except their television programming. So they'll say, this is the way things have always been. So I don't know. I don't know why you continue to talk about these things, because they're just not important. It's just not important in our, then it's just okay, whatever, go fuck yourself. But, so when will people understand that the banks control everything? The banks control the media. They never want you to know that it's them, the banking institutions, the Goldman Sachs, the Wells Fargos, the Bank of America, and all these other organizations that are large scale, robbing you, looting the country, looting you and your family, lying to you, and then paying for all this healthcare bullshit when they know that you have no clue that you're being fucking murdered. You have no clue that you're being murdered by this system, because you've been brought up in this lie, in this bubble of lies that says doctors, they're good, they care about you and junk, so let's keep this thing going. And maybe, and then little Janie, she's going to school. She's going to become a doctor. So she's going to be part of the death machine. Bobby, he's going to become he's going to be a pharmacist. Yeah. He's going to hand out the deadly drugs. Yeah. Yeah. And Janie is going to become a lawyer. So she's going to get out there and she's going to defend, she's going to chase fucking ambulances and it's all good. It's all good. We're just going to add to it's kind of like a Christmas tree, right? You get a Christmas tree. Sorry out there for those who are offended by Christmas trees. Are you crying right now about a Christmas tree? And so there's the Christmas tree, and it's only got so much strength. And as it dies internally from bad poison, toxic water, and, you know, and then they just keep on hanging ornaments on. Now these I guess I should call them ornaments, because everybody that's here, Janie here, she's going to be the doctor, and there's Bobby, he's going to be a pharmacist, and you put it on there. Sooner or later, the diseased fucking tree, the structure, is not going to be able to handle all of the bulbs and the ornaments that are being put on it, and that it's all going to come crashing down. Okay. So if you're thinking about becoming a lawyer or a doctor or a pharmacist or a politician or going into advertising, like Bill Hicks said, kill yourself. I know that sounds strange to those with their head jammed up their fucking hindquarters, but if you want to become a lawyer or a doctor, don't. And if you decide to, fucking kill yourself, because you are adding to the degenerative fucking nature of this bullshit fiction, and you're probably better off dead, because you're going to hurt a lot of people, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know where you are. You don't know how this thing works. All you're thinking about is your future when you really don't fucking have one. And you're going to help other people not have a future too, because you decided to become what the system told you was prestigious. What the system told you is good. Now, I look at somebody who is like a physical therapist, somebody who helps somebody to become stronger, somebody who teaches somebody like Pilates or yoga or something like that, so they can build their body, and nutritionists, people that really know something about food. Those are the people. Those are the good people. But they're going to be flushed out. They're going to be flushed down the toilet, because we've got Amazon buying up Whole Foods now. So that fucking GMO labeling and all those other things, that's all, you know, those are all fucking pipe dreams, window dressings and shit. Because when Bezos and his fucking degenerate maggots get done with, you know, with the system, there really won't be anything left. And that is truly why the system and the future does not need us, because we are working towards, and they are working towards, extermination of most of the population. If you can't get a job, I mean, that's why they're talking about giving people money that they don't have to do anything, just give them a certain amount of money. And because there's not going to be jobs, the future is being designed that way. It didn't have to be that way. It didn't have to be this way. We could still have people doing jobs. We don't need robots to do them. And there'd be plenty of money. There'd be plenty of resources for people to live healthily, happy.
There is only one system.
MK Ultra, ya. Put the MK scope on ya. If the MK hits you, it's guaranteed to open ya. The 57mm Mark 110, 220 rounds a minute, try to stop them. Don't put that on your wish list, that's retarded babble. Prorate the hit list soon as they start to rabble. They are nothing but fishes in the barrel. It doesn't have to be Christmas for a carol. Some decorate with ornamental decorum. Some perform Shakana on Hanukkah and Purim. That's where my job come in. I am a blessing to the mercenary for the corporation selling weapons to them. Any potential competitor step into them. I'm authorized to knock them out and stick a GPS into them. They want to sell uranium to Iran that's enriched. That's a bitch now.